Remember on election night 2020 when we thought that Donald Trump had won in a clean sweep of all of the swing states, and then suddenly the mail-in ballots arrived? That's what's happening to the Odyssey right now in their reviews. Rotten Tomatoes is the mail-in ballots, the late arriving mail-in ballots after election day for movie reviewers. You can see here it's sitting at a very hot and verified 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. And of course, this is very strange because it's the most disliked trailer in the history of YouTube. It's got almost 1 million dislikes. So something's off here. What's happening? You know, if you go over to Metacritic, which has a far less riggable mail-in balloting operation, you can see that it's getting a 5 out of 10. So it seems to be tracking with the people that are actually reviewing the movie. And by the way, Hollywood is trying to psyop you into thinking that this is one of the biggest, most successful movies of all time. It is not. It was beat out pretty severely by Super Mario Galaxy and nearly by Oppenheimer, quite frankly. Toy Story 5 beat it. Barbie, Deadpool, Wolverine, the Dark Knight movies blew the Odyssey out of the water. These are the opening weekend bodies in seats. And the reason why this is, of course, very important is because they're trying to rig the numbers. Again, the late arriving mail-in ballots are IMAX screens and Rotten Tomatoes movie reviews combined, because the IMAX screens cost like $40 a ticket to go see this thing. It's 70 millimeter IMAX screen. So you can make a lot more money and sell a lot less tickets. And so the best way to actually track these things is how many asses are in seats. And now, oh, whoopsie daisy, the autists of the internet have cracked the code on how Rotten Tomatoes is rigging the Odyssey movie ratings. Let's go ahead and read. Big discovery on Rotten Tomatoes. The audience score is sitting at 56, not the fake 97% they're showing with their verified audience bullshit. A Reddit user figured out how to see the actual real numbers behind Rotten Tomatoes manipulation that they're most likely being paid for. Exactly what we've been saying. Real people are dragging this butchered mess, but Rotten Tomatoes is bending over backwards to try and protect it. So it looks like they cracked the actual code here for the poll score from Rotten Tomatoes. And there's a ton of data from people that are certified reviewers that say they thought the Odyssey was fine, but it's no masterpiece. And they're dumping on it, and they're saying that their reviews have not been posted on Rotten Tomatoes, that Rotten Tomatoes is refusing to post their reviews. And in fact, they go back in and check the system, and they give it so instead of giving it a 2 out of 5, they give it a 5 out of 5, and then they post that immediately. Somebody tipped me off to a website that compiles all the real ratings for movies on Rotten Tomatoes and compares them to the fake push ratings to try and portray real ratings. Really eye-popping. Wow, it's called Popcorn Gap. Yikes. So you can see here, the real rating is 60%, and it shows 97%. So it's fake. It's all fake. Some of the biggest bombs ever, like Joker and The Rise of Skywalker, here have these actual fake reviews that they're pushing. It's all algorithmic. Yikes. What a fraud. 3 days ago, I posted my clean, spoiler-free review of The Odyssey. 2.5 out of 5. As of today, it has still not yet been posted. I created a new account 2 hours ago. I posted a 5 out of 5 glowing review. It went public in less than an hour. What a joke. Rigging the scores. Rotten Tomatoes not allowing and deleting bad reviews of Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. I tried to leave a review 3 different times now, seen the movie. Other users are reporting that their reviews got deleted. Oh, no. Oh, no. Mail-in balloting. This is these are the electronic voting machines. I was right again. The Odyssey is receiving low ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. Audience hate a 56%, which is, not the worst Rotten Tomatoes scores. Rotten Tomato reviews are rigged. Now there is proof. Let's see what the Redditor says. Rotten Tomatoes made a major change in how the audience scores are calculated. Many people don't realize what happened. The single change is why the audience score is sitting at a glowing 97% instead of the real 56%. The discrepancy comes down to how Rotten Tomatoes creates verified audience score versus the all audience score. Rotten Tomatoes used a poll mechanic. An unverified user has to actively decide to leave a review, log in, create an account, navigate the movie page, submit the rating. Rotten Tomatoes shifted the primary score to a push notification via ticket processors like Fandango. A ticket buyer walking out of the theater gets a prompt. Did you see the movie? Rate it 1 to 5 stars. They tap star, and then they're done. Removing the UI friction is fine on paper, but making the verified audience default score under the popcorn meter branding changed everything. And giving the predictable resulting score inflation was likely the deliberate. See how the real results, so you can see here. Okay. And they give the code in order to find out what the real results are from people that are actually checking in and disliking. So calculation, this is a 56% actually for the Odyssey, not the 97% for the Fandango push card, which seems like a terrible way to actually do this in a way that can be totally rigged. I went to go check out the recent reviews of the Odyssey. Did these sound like humans to you? Incredible, start to finish, no notes. Great 3 hours of entertainment, worth every penny. Gonna see again. Masterpiece. Phenomenal. Movie is amazing. Absolute cinematic experience. Very good movie on history. A very good film in action movie history. Thank you, Nathan. Verified. 4 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 stars. It's all fake. User hacked Rotten Tomatoes on the Asmongold subreddit and found a real review score for Christopher Nolan's film. Look at that. Yo, you can see it right there. According to the Chuds, the Odyssey actually is at 56%. We knew Christopher Nolan movie would expose the Chud delusion in its greatest form. Rotten Tomatoes is deleting bad reviews for the Odyssey, the film that is a compliance and conformity experiment. All it takes is enough voices to say the truth, and the psyop will fall apart. Rotten Tomatoes wants you to believe that the Odyssey is better than Lord of the Rings. You're being played like a fiddle. Or The Dark Knight, or any of the movies that we actually like. Look at that. Okay, so here's why they have to do this, right? So there was no DEI BS in The Lord of the Rings. There was no race swapping. There were no gender swappings. There was nothing. It was like about as, I mean, this is why it's beloved. It's about as true to Tolkien's work as you can get. Certainly that we can get in the modern era, right? And that would be considered an actual masterpiece. Of course, there's nothing but subversion in the Odyssey. But Hollywood needed to drag out their best director in order to and tick all of the boxes of the Oscars identity matrix. You know, trans, black, race swap, gender swap. It's all required there for you to win an Academy Award. And it'll no doubt, because the system's totally rigged, win a bunch of Academy Awards. What they're doing here, what Hollywood's doing here is so much more pernicious than just like making a black Helen of Troy. Helen of Detroit, is they are trying to manufacture consent for all of the woke, subversive hellscape that they have dragged the entertainment industry through for the last 5 to 6 years. You know, sort of starting in 2020, really before that, for maybe the last 10 years, starting with Lady Ghostbusters, actually, in 2016. And everyone views that as like the kickoff point, the spark for all of this. And so they're trying to justify it. Every race swapped Snow White, every black Little Mermaid. They're trying to justify all of that. They were all box office bombs. They're trying to say, and maybe it is with their dying breath, that no, wokeness is financially viable. That is why I am not going to see the movie. And it's a conversation with my wife. You know, everybody's out. Matt Walsh is out, like with all their reviews, and I really like Matt Walsh, but I'm not going to give money to this movie. That would be part of the problem. I can watch it when it comes to streaming. I guess that means I don't get to get 1 million views off my review of the Odyssey. You know, guys like Ben Shapiro glazing the Odyssey. It's so humiliating, so debated. It's so embarrassing. Like, is it so hard to say from a principled stance, I refuse to engage in this piece of culture? Like, okay, I don't like Taylor Swift. I don't like the messages she sends to young women. I don't like the WNBA. I don't like kneeling for the national anthem. Therefore, I won't be giving them any of my money. And if enough conservatives did that, you know, conservatives are the only people that have money in this country. Like, if we actually did that, then it would truly bomb. You know, they can barely rig these numbers as it is for asses in seats. Look at this. It is not even by any stretch of the imagination Christopher Nolan's most successful movie, much less the most successful movie in the last couple of years. Warm bodies in seats. if you go back to like the epoch of Hollywood, these numbers would be much, much bigger. Back in like Toy Story days, Titanic, stuff like this. How many more millions of people were there? But anyway, this is just recent history. It was beaten by Toy Story 5 and Barbie. So the Odyssey, it's all fake. This is all fake. All of it's fake. And gay. And that's the point. Because they want to try and prove to themselves, Hollywood wants to try and prove to themselves that at least one woke piece of subversive trash can be financially viable. And that this was all not for rot. We didn't just destroy our entire industry for nothing. And that's what this is. So I refuse to engage in this. I refuse to go see it and call it what it is. You're dying on the wrong hill, whatever. It's your job to go be a critic or go review things. Go watch them. I don't care. I can like have my opinions on the female women's, soccer team. I can have my opinions on The View or Megan Rapinoe or Kamala Harris without going to a Kamala Harris rally, without watching The View. So I'm not going to contribute to this. I'm not going to contribute to any even fake victories that they're trying to claim. And if ever conservative, I'm kind of disgusted by the number of people that I see in my timeline that are like, I watched the Odyssey. I watched the Odyssey. I watched the Odyssey. I loved it. I hated it. Whatever. It doesn't matter. They win. They win. I got haters in my audience and they watch every video. And I know they watch every video. And so I win when they watch my videos. So I win. It doesn't matter. A love click is worth the same as a hate click. That doesn't matter. In fact, a hate click, like you're more likely to leave a comment, like go fight, and so like good, please, like hate watch. It's a very powerful watch. I'm not going to. I'm going to choose to disconnect. And that's actually how you truly win. How you truly win is you just don't go at all, right? So that's mine. And that's my very Luddite principled stance on this. They are rigging the reviews. Obviously, Rotten Tomatoes is the Dominion voter systems movie reviewers. the late arriving mail-in balloting. That's how they do it. Thank you, Asmongold, for the genius of your audience figuring this one out, cracking the code. Refuse to play their game. Disconnect, unplug. That's how we actually win. We refuse to watch. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See